Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video.
Well, I'm back out here at Giga Texas, and it is Friday the 13th. And this is actually the second Friday the 13th in 2 months. But despite that, it is not a scary day. Actually, it's a very great day, a wonderful day to fly, and a few pretty big developments that I want to go over. First off, because of the conditions and it's a Friday, I decided that I would fly around some of the sites around the area that are showing the biggest parts of construction. So we go up to that far north side. You can tell that they are making a lot of progress. They've even expanded some of the construction for that North Campus location in that large rectangular field. Far to the north, we can see a silt fence has been put in, and they're putting some gravel at that far north side and additional work. So progress is definitely being made there. Over at the southwest corner of the site where the test track is being installed, we can see that its shape is definitely starting to emerge, and they are continuing to work on the basic shape of that track. They're doing some earthwork, more geotextile membranes, filling in some of the ponds, and continuing to prepare that site for this test track, which is awesome. Now, one thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to Cybercabs is that I took this image yesterday of a top-down shot of the Cybercab, and I compared it to the original prototype that was shown at We Robot. And these are the exact same vantage points, the same scale, and even though there's slightly different lighting, you can really get a chance to see some of the major differences that have been done between the original prototype and now the near production version of the Cybercab. The hood is longer, probably for crashworthiness. The window is a little bit, the windshield is a little bit different shape, also pushed back a little bit more. The rear quarter panels have slightly different shapes. The cant rails, the kind of two sides of the roof, have been moved inward slightly, making a different angle with the side glass. Of course, the front fender enclosures for the cameras have been relocated. The kind of grooves along the top of the Cybercab have been changed and elongated. And you can tell that the bumper on the near production version is significantly larger on the rear than it is on the prototype. And I think that, again, is more of the crashworthiness and preparation for use on the streets. Along with that, today I saw about 30 of the Cybercabs over at the outbound lot. They were in 3 long lines. Some of them were being prepared for shipping off-site, but also they were preparing them for display. You can see this with the Future's autonomous kind of enclosed display with a Cybercab in it being pulled by the Cybertruck. And I think that's because that's related to a pop-up event that is happening this morning, today, and tomorrow downtown Austin. And this is timed to be at the to be coincident with the South by Southwest event that is going on here at Austin. So they're going to be displaying Cybercabs, they're going to be displaying Optimus robots, there will be supervised full self-driving demonstrations, and again, that's going to be going on today and tomorrow here downtown in Austin. So we're a little less than 2 weeks or so from production beginning of Cybercab, and it looks like Tesla is doing a lot to prepare for that and getting a lot more public exposures of the Cybercab, which I think is outstanding. So without further ado, let's get in the drone, let's fly around and see what else is going on here at Giga Texas. And as always, thank you very much for your support. Have a great weekend.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. What a beautiful morning to fly here at Giga Texas. And of course, we're going to start on the far northeast of the property, looking to the north where the North Campus is being constructed. There is a lot that is changing, and we're going to fly around there here in a minute. But before we get there, I'm going to tilt the camera down, show you more of the work here to prepare for River Road extension through the trees and over towards that Lone Tree Field, which is on the right-hand side of the screen. I'm going to look back towards the main factory, downtown Austin, the cathode building, and Cortex 2, just to remind you where we are, put into context the work that is still underway to prepare this tree area for this road. And it will come through over to this location, which on the bottom of the screen, we can see that almost all of the debris, the vegetation, and the tree remnants have been broken up and removed. And that work is continuing, and there will be more here in a moment. I will show you in the north part of the field. This is a great look back across the old rental equipment lot and maintenance facility where almost everything is gone. There is some activity in that sort of recycle location on the left-hand side of the screen. I'm going to pan the drone around towards the north. We'll look to the west here across the hills and valleys of the old sand and gravel mine. And at the bottom of the screen is that debris that will be mulched and then removed from the site here pretty soon. Now, I did notice this. It's pretty exciting. It's on the very north edge of this large rectangular field. You can even see the silt fence has been put into place on the right-hand side of the screen, and it looks like there's some gravel that is being brought into this location as well. And I'm going to kind of maneuver around and look back towards the main factory so you get an idea of where exactly we are located in relation to the factory. We are about 1.5 to 2 miles north of Giga Texas. And as you can tell, this field is really starting to see some development. And they're moving that kind of gravel around, and perhaps they're preparing this for some material staging or equipment staging for the construction that is going to be happening in this part of the site. As we move back towards the south, a nice view of all of the clearing. Most of the piles of cleaned up dirt has been removed. Some of the piles of the debris remain, and that work continues. On this part of the site, we see a new area of excavation. Looks like they may be starting to prepare to remove more of the vegetation here, perhaps widening this part of the site and extending to the south where you see those dirt roads heading off near that pond. And I'll kind of maneuver around here, trying to avoid the sun glare for you. And we'll give a view from the south to the north across this field, the work that's being done on the left-hand side of the screen, and more of that cleanup of the dirt and debris. Also looks like there's a silt fence that is being added here at the south end of the site as well. Heading over to this large depression with the hills and valley, and of course back to Lone Tree Field on the right where we visited earlier. I'm going to kind of maneuver the drone here around this part of the site and start facing closer towards the south. And as we do this, a better close-in view of that work that's being done at the bottom of the screen and some of the green bins that some of the debris is being put into. We do see some cleanup operation going on here at the bottom left of the screen. You can tell that they're putting it into this kind of a hopper, and it is separating out the different kinds of debris and the soil from this stack. Also, we see the large pile of the broken up concrete and more of the rebar in this in the center, kind of the screen, the big pile, some more of the bins, and it looks like some additional equipment has been brought in next to the conveyors. As I pan further to the south, you can get a good sense of how much of this has been cleaned up, how much more concrete is remaining, and that pipe we just flew over again is one of the original kind of landmarks here at Giga Texas. It's over where the electrical switchyard is now, and it was the original baghouse filtration plant for the concrete operation that was here well before Giga Texas. At the bottom of the screen, we see more of that dirt is being brought in to this location, kind of repairing the grade, raising it up, and it is kind of bumping up against this staging yard with all of the green transformers. Here's a nice view across the filtration pond and the crash test facility, but I'm going to pull back a little, fly over this part of the site where there is work that is underway, and it will continue for quite some time to reclaim this area for River Road to go through. You can see some dirt has been brought in at the center of the screen, and I'll give you a closer view of that here momentarily. Also, this very large pile of dirt coming into view, and all of this is going to be for that River Road extension. The maintenance facility continues to be prepared for demolition, along with this giant hill of debris and concrete. And then that, of course, continues off to the left-hand side of the screen, off the screen, for River Road's extension. As I maneuver around this large pile of debris, I'll bring the drone down a little bit lower so you can get a little better sense of the scale of the size of this hill and the debris that's here, and also a better look at this facility that is being prepared for demolition. In fact, the kind of the structure on the right-hand side of the screen will also be removed for River Road's extension. Bring the drone up a little more. We'll fly over this part of the site and approach in towards that new cell crash test dummy lab and the crash test facility, and start here briefly to show you the dirt that has been brought in that we saw previously, and they are continuing to extend this outwards towards the rest of that field that is going to be prepared for that extension. The crash test dummy lab is pretty much complete with the exception of the windows, the door, and the receiving door, and that will be added soon. We do get a chance to see a Cybercab inside the south end of crash testing, preparing for that one of the tests that they're going to be doing. Not sure exactly what this one is. For the crash test wall itself is on the left-hand side of the opening. But here's a good view of that Cybercab ready to get some testing done. As we fly up towards the north, we can tell that there is about 11 or 10 more waiting for their turn for crash testing. And this is all part of the process that Tesla is doing leading up to production beginning and fielding the Cybercabs into the Robotaxi fleet. As I mentioned in the intro, there was a big event today. It was a Tesla Popup event with the Cybercab Optimus Robot and drives of self-driving, unsupervised or supervised with the Tesla employees. And that is yet another signal that they are getting close to opening up the Cybercabs to the Robotaxi fleet. So just a couple more weeks to go, but it's starting to get really exciting, especially what we can see here at the site. I'm going to come in closer to Cortex 2, and we'll take a look at some of the activity around here today. A good view of part 2 of the cooling system. Work is continuing with more materials being delivered and walkways being covered around the perimeter of walls. And also, it looks like maybe where these bunkers are located, there is some scaffolding being put in. So we may start seeing some of the pipe works installed here. Of course, this is a mirror image of the cooling part 1 that we see in the upper right-hand side of the screen. Here's a good look at this workshop and some of the spools of cabling. And I want to take this opportunity to fly up to the north and just show you again this temporary loading platform that has been added in, plus that access port into the wall. And maybe we'll start seeing some equipment brought in there pretty soon. As I fly back to the south next to the chiller unit, which still needs the plastic walls removed, I did notice that there was some deliveries on these trucks. One in the center of the screen, 2 more coming into view on the right-hand side of the screen. These are more of the temporary cooling systems that are being delivered to expand out that temporary cooling capability for Cortex 2 to allow it to begin operations sometime next month. Next to the 14 megapacks and the growing size of part 1 of the cooling system with all 6 fans, at the bottom of the screen we can see that even more of those cooling trailers have been brought in, and they're being placed between the die shop on the right and the cooling plant on the left. More pipes are being lined up to extend the water all the way up to where the new coolers are being brought in. And ultimately, it'll add to that capability. And hopefully, we'll get an idea soon how many there actually are going to be. On the right, you can see the pipes that go into the building, and that feeds those temporary systems. The bottom of the screen, that depression, that's starting to look more like a pond rather than a tank location, but I'll continue to monitor that. Crews coming up the temporary stairs to service the cable trays that are over the parapet wall and entering into the building here. And as I fly along, a good view also of all of the megapacks that have been installed. As I mentioned before, they are concentrating on installing one half of the power and cooling capabilities. Also related to that would be the data center, the computers, the servers, and all of the supporting equipment, so they can get Cortex 2 up and running as soon as possible, while they will continue on the second half of everything, including the megapacks and the electrical equipment that will be installed on these screw-type piers on the west side of the building. And through the summer, that work will continue till eventually they get it completely up and running. And this is also important because very recently Elon mentioned that at Fremont, they want to start the V3 Optimus Robot production sometime this summer. And this training system will be important for that to happen. I'm going to bring the drone up to a little bit higher altitude, kind of pan to the north, just to give you context of where we are located. You can see that field on the right with all of that earthwork and cleaning up of the debris underway that we saw earlier. And I'm going to continue heading off to the west now to show you some of the activity here. This kind of gravel-covered geotextile membrane rectangle on this clearing. A lot of materials along this roadway. And of course, some of the old rental equipment lot facilities and maintenance has been moved to this location with those two rounded top tents, some of the solar panels, some of the containers, and it looks like some additional items with tanks for the landscaping that is also done here in this part of the site. Of course, the concrete batch plant that was converted from mobile to semi-permanent is prepared and stocked for more concrete to be made. That's serving both Giga Texas and the surrounding area. So we're getting closer to the electrical switch yard. Wanted to give a much better look here at the materials and these four bases. These are going to be put into the ground. There'll be a large auger that will make the hole, and this will support more of the gray power poles, similar to what you see at the top of the screen. And I'll just keep watching to see when and where those are installed and how that's going to connect into the rest of the system. Speaking of which, a new A-frame is getting ready to be added. This should be the last of the A-frames. And this is what that work looks like today. On the two closest to the camera here, on my previous video, we saw them running all of the wires. Now that work seems to be complete. And these containers have the parts and other equipment that is necessary to build out that third transformer. And we see other equipment being set up here, ready for installation at some time in the near future on the rest of those footings just to the north of this image. Good view of some of the work that's being done on the underground vault and these three trailers, and the rest of the site with Megapack 2, which is also for Cortex 1, the south end of the building. I'm going to bring the drone up to a higher altitude. We'll fly to the far southeast and take a look at what is going on with River Road's extension on that part of the site. Flying over the fabrication facilities for much of the pipes that are being put into Cortex 2. And here is the earthwork that has been done to extend River Road by the tree line, and a pond, I believe, that is under construction on the right-hand side of the screen. And I think part of the reason why some of the effort has been put to the far northeast rather than here is because of those workshops that are fabricating the pipes. Here's a good view of the extension of Robotic Avenue down towards River Road and how this work is underway. Also some more trench boxes and pipe installation along Robotic Avenue. This field is rapidly being turned into one that has trench boxes and other equipment to allow for more of the stormwater pipe to be installed. Looks like they're preparing for a drainage ditch underneath the road to that field. Good view of all of the items and equipment that are being stored on this material staging yard. And as I maneuver around towards the wind tunnel, I will zoom in and show you what this work is like. And this is where they're adding in the more conduit and electrical cabling to provide permanent power to the wind tunnel, so they don't have to worry about that green trailer and the generator that has been supporting it for the last couple of years. The lot looks reasonably filled up with vehicles waiting for their turn to be delivered to customers. And as we fly up over the parking garage, we'll take a look at what River Road's extension looks like here. First, starting at this staging yard and some of the materials waiting to be put inside. And then as we pass over the pond, we can see more dirt being stackpiled on the left-hand side of the screen. Center dump trucks bringing more dirt here to prepare the extension, and some work just to the south of River Road as well. So we may see paving here in the next few weeks. Along the east side of stamping, this is a good view of some of the activity, some of the materials and equipment that is stockpiled here for installation. No Cybercabs coming out of the building today, which is not really surprising. And here is the temporary coolers that are being plumbed up to support thermoplastic injection molding, which is used for the body panels of Cybercab. So that work is definitely continuing and making a progress as well. We also see deliveries at the bottom of the screen of more crates, and it appears that that is being prepared to be lifted up onto that temporary platform by that blue and white crane. I'm going to pan the drone along the side of the building towards the north, and we'll see some more of the equipment just to the south of the east main entrance, and that's waiting for installation as well. And then here next to the tower for the power lines, more of those crates that have been delivered and stockpiled here. More of the castings in the racking systems here as well. And this is pretty much Model Y and Cybertruck, as the Cybercabs are being rerouted through the second floor of the building down to the production line. So that is a different process than what we see with Cybertruck and the Model Ys. So come down to this part of the casting kind of yard or sorting location. You can see some more of those metal cradles that are on the ground here, a large box and some other equipment that has been delivered here recently, along with some of the racks for the Cybertrucks. As we get to this part of the north end of the paint shop, over the paint stands, I'll zoom in and show you that they've kind of grouped together some of those forms for the Cybercab on the left-hand side of the screen. More of these kind of dollies or cradles for bodies, and a body in white for what looks to be a Model Y, what used to be called the standard range version of that body sitting out here. And that's been out here for a couple of days. Not sure exactly why, but it could just be either a test or a reject. Of course, the work here at 4680s continues. More equipment being delivered. Those two large tanks were moved in a couple of days ago, so those are no longer here. And we'll wrap around the northwest corner, fly to the south along this part of the building, stopping briefly to look at the recycling operations here for the cans of the 4680s. All of these look pretty empty, but we are seeing some deliveries being made here today. So I'm going to fly along the west side of the building. We'll go to the south corner and take a look at some of the berm work that is wrapping up. few flights since I've stopped here on this side of the site, show you the work to wrap up the final parts of construction for the caisson, the underground tunnel, the pipes, and that large vault. The construction fences are still in place. A lot of the dirt still remains, but I'm kind of curious to see what is the next level of construction that'll be happening here. As we resume on the other side of the highway, I'm going to start panning the drone across the West Warehouse on Wheels, this large dry pond that is for irrigation. Of course, we see River Road at the bottom of the screen with a lot of activity, and we'll stop here at this large field. It's been used for a lot of materials, also contractor parking in the past, but now, as you can tell, the work for the new test track is really starting to take shape literally. Most of the drainage ditches have been filled over, so the ground is pretty level. Most of the grade work for that basic construction has been completed, or at least is in advanced stages. We see the outline of what looked like the main track really starting to take shape. This kind of southwest corner area may be for facilities or for a different kind of test. We'll have to see what goes on here. And the oval shape of the track is really starting to appear now. Also looks like there may be a roadway here in the middle part of the site, and that's where the earthwork is being done on the right-hand side of the screen. Here's a look at the curving road on this corner and how this is continuing to make progress. There are stakes in the ground now, kind of showing the path of that roadway. The bottom of the screen, geotextile membranes have been put down and now filling up with dirt. And I'll continue to watch this to see if they are going to reclaim all of this to make it level, or if they're going to leave any of the ponds left over. The debris from the tunneling, that gray material, also looks like it's starting to shrink, so it may be being removed from the site. Some of this white material is the gravel that used to be here that has not been removed yet, and we can see how the curve of the track is starting to take shape on this side of the site. As I bring the drone up to a higher altitude, I wanted to give you a better view of how that appears from this altitude. And I'll kind of maneuver around here and show you what is happening on the kind of left-hand side from the point of view we're looking here on this site. It appears that grade work is underway. There's still some conduit risers for lights in that kind of white section with the materials, and I'll keep watching to see what happens there. That may be retained as it is. Bring the drone back down, look at the workshop for all of the superchargers. You can see that they have been busy with many of them stored here, more of them with materials on the top right-hand side of the screen for more assembly. As I maneuver around, we'll fly over all of these transformers that are being stored here, plus a lot of equipment and other materials. On the left-hand side of the screen is early preparation to extend the roadway from the north through this section to the south. And of course, more of the concrete materials and irrigation or storm water management pipes that have been left here for future use. This large field continues to just be waiting here until we see what happens with the Welcome Center. Hopefully that'll be happening at sometime in the rest of this year, but I'm not sure exactly when. We'll stop here at the end of line facility and show you that it is Friday, so there's not really much production going on. However, there is a big lot of activity going on with Cybercabs here. Also transports of vehicles off-site that were made throughout the week. Stopping here, I'll show you this traveling display. The Cybertruck is getting ready to pull this Cybercab down to downtown Austin for that pop-up event. And it's hard to see here on that particular Cybercab, but I showed you in the intro. They also revealed the brand new Robotaxi logo that will be on the Cybercabs. It's much larger, a lot more bold, and it is lit with kind of a very interesting method, and that should be a permanent part of the Robotaxi and the Cybercabs once those go live. So seeing all of this activity, the The fact that they're doing a pop-up event today, all of these vehicles being prepared to be sent around for more testing around the country, and of course the future is autonomous mobile display, is a really great sign for Cybercab and Robotaxi. And as I mentioned, we're just a few weeks away from that production officially beginning. So really getting exciting. So I'm going to do kind of fly around, show you various different vantage points of all of these Cybercabs, and also refer you back to the intro where I do a side-by-side comparison of the original prototype and one of these vehicles. And from the top down, looking at the vehicles, and you can definitely tell that there are a lot of differences between the prototype and the production version, despite the fact that it's pretty close to looking like the original prototype design. So one last thing I want to do here before I end the video is bring the drone up to a much higher altitude, turn back towards the west, and proceed over to another part of the site that I don't get a chance to show you very often, but there is a lot of activity with breaking down some of these hills and valleys that was part of that sand and gravel mine, and also taking dirt to other parts of the site, particularly over to the test track right now. You can see where all the center dump trucks are lined up on this road. They are proceeding up to this large pit, and excavation work is underway. Much of these kind of linear hills have been broken down, as you can tell, and this work is continuing. Now, this is part of Giga Texas's property, even though it's on the west side of Farm to Market 973, that road that you see at the top of the screen. And this is one of the only places that is part of Giga Texas that is on this side of that road. As I pan the drone up, a great view back to the main factory so you know where we are located in respect to the main factory, and you can see the outbound lot and the end of line at the top of the screen here. So a lot of work being done to prepare this site, particularly just to take all the dirt out and get rid of the hills. I'm kind of curious what this will be at some point in the future. Who knows? It is part of Giga Texas, so maybe they'll develop it at some point. As we cross over Farm to Market 973, I'll bring the drone back down. One last view of where all of the rental equipment has been brought from that far northeast field to here, and shares some space with some of these extra transport trucks, two of which are actually busy taking more vehicles off-site. So that'll be it for this Friday the 13th. A lot of activity on the site, a lot of activity with Cybercabs and the pop-up event down in Austin. I hope that you enjoyed what we were able to see and talk about. Thank you for your support. Have a great weekend.